Hi weaving friends, today's video is all about the snap test. It's not just about the snap test actually, it's about other things as well. But basically I wanted to have a chat about this. I got an email a couple of days ago from someone who was very respectful and polite, so those kind of emails are always very welcome. And he said that he had heard from other people that I had said, here we go, the grapevine, that I had said that you cannot use a yarn for weaving if it snaps. Okay, so first of all, I've been on here for quite a long time now, 10 plus years, and all that time I've been weaving and all that time I've been learning. So if you go back to some of my first videos 10 plus years ago, you might see that I actually do things differently now to what I did then. And they might be subtle differences, they might be big differences, because I, like you, am a student of weaving and I'm learning all the time. Every time I weave something, I learn something. I learn better ways to do things, I learn different ways to do things. I play with different kinds of yarns, different structures, different looms. Always learning, always growing, just as a weaver should be. And I've said a million times, I'm going to say it one more time. I wish it was the last time, but I know that there'll be many other times. I'm not an expert. It's other people who put that label on me. I never ever claim to come from a place of expertedness. That is not a word, I'm quite sure. But I'm not an expert. I'm not a weaving expert. I'm not an expert in anything. I just share my experiences. Now you might say, but you have an online weaving school. Yes, I do. I share my experiences on there and I give people steps to follow to get achievable results. That's what teaching is. That doesn't mean that I'm an expert and that I know everything there is to know about weaving and about yarn and about looms. I don't. I don't know everything. I'll never know everything. I don't want to know everything. I don't have the capacity to know everything. Okay. I'm not an expert. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want that title. I don't deserve that title. So, if you see something in one of my older videos that seems to contradict something that I do now, it's just because I have learned something different, or that I have found another way that I prefer, or through my teaching, which has been an amazing teacher to me as well, of weaving methods and how to teach people effectively and just all of those things. Through doing that teaching, I've just learned so much. More effective ways, more helpful ways, all of that. And so if I'm ever accused of being wrong about something, if I'm ever told that what I did was misleading, I'm sorry, that's not my intention. My intention has ever been on this channel to help people, whether it's through weaving, whether it's through other stuff, just to help people. That was my purpose in coming here. Anyhow, let's get back to the email. So, the snapping yarn. Okay, so if I ever said that you can't use yarn that snaps under tension for weaving, I don't remember where or when I might have said that. What I said to the person who emailed me was, I've learned a lot. I'm not the same weaver now that I was 10 years ago, but also my advice that I give to absolute beginner weavers is not necessarily the advice that is going to suit more advanced weavers. The majority of my students, people who follow me here on YouTube, buy my patterns, buy my classes, all of that, the majority of them, though not all of course, because a lot of you have been with me from the very beginning, you awesome people, but a great deal of them are absolute beginners. And so the information that I give to them is not going to be the same as someone who has been weaving for a while, who has woven a lot of projects, have used a lot of different types of yarns. So my advice to beginner weavers is to use a strong yarn for warp when you're starting out. Not to use a yarn that snaps easily under tension. The yarn that I recommend most for brand new weavers, like for your first project or first couple of projects, whatever, is wool, because wool and the rigid heddle loom are great friends. They work really well together. Wool works well on any loom, but especially on the rigid heddle loom when you're just starting out. Because it doesn't hold as much tension as a floor loom or a table loom, if you use wool, you're more likely to get a consistent tension because it has some elasticity. Also, this one is a, this one is like a sports weight wool, but it's the same for a fingering weight wool or a DK weight wool, whatever you're using. It's usually very strong, depending on the wool, because different wools will be plied differently. So there are the strands of the twisted yarn, and then they are all twisted together to make this final strand. And that's the ply. And how many plies it has or how it's plied does depend on how strong the yarn ends up being. But this one, for example, this is from Bendigo Woolen Mills. I use their yarns all the time. They're wool mostly, but I use their cotton as well. It's very strong, right? It's not going to break under tension. And so to help newbies have the best, easiest kind of experience when they're just starting out, yeah, I recommend wool because it doesn't break and because it has elasticity. So another example of a strong yarn would be an 8-2 cotton. It can break under tension, but you know, the consistency of your tension across your warp, if you have it mostly even, because breakages will often occur when you have like a section of threads that are tighter than the rest, or one or two threads that are tighter than the rest, and then there's more friction, and then they're under more tension than the others. Every time you tighten your tension, they tighten even more, whereas the others don't. So that's an inconsistent warping tension. Then you might get breakages with this kind of yarn. But in general, this is a real workhorse yarn that is very strong. But I don't necessarily recommend it for absolute beginners. In fact, I wouldn't tell a new rigid heddle weaver to use this for your first project, because it's probably going to be difficult because it has no give. It's a very strong, rigid, inelastic yarn, and that is very hard even for a more experienced rigid heddle weaver to tension, because the rigid heddle just doesn't hold as much tension as a floor loom or a table loom. So I wouldn't be saying just because this is a strong yarn that you should be starting with this yarn. You see, I'm illustrating the point that my advice is different depending on what level of weaving you are. And I've got one more example of yarn here that is 60/2 silk, very fine. And look at this, it'll break very easily straight away. Does that mean it's not suitable for warp? It is. I have woven a couple of beautiful scarves with this, and I didn't have problems with breaking threads because I had the tension even enough, and I was careful. That is the finest thread that I've ever woven with. But I found, just as I was saying before, that each time I use something new or introduce a new variable into my weaving, then I learned something. So with that project, I learned that under the right conditions, if you are careful and you have really consistent warp tension, these threads won't break under tension, even though it won't pass the snap test. Another really classic yarn that I really wanted to show you actually, but I've used all of mine up, it's a beautiful yarn, is chenille. So there are usually two types of chenille available. Usually one is cotton, the other is bamboo. And I used bamboo chenille for my Maria scarf. I'll put a picture of that here. I incorporated silk ribbon into it as well, but the actual warp and weft was the chenille. And when I first used the chenille, I used the snap test with it before I started because I wanted to know what it was made of, and it snapped so easily. I was a little concerned about that, but I went ahead with it on my rigid heddle loom, and again with the consistent warping tension, and also just because the rigid heddle doesn't have that extra tight tension like a floor loom might, it was actually a great yarn to weave with on the rigid heddle loom. And I didn't have problems with breakages, and I had a beautiful project at the end. So I guess the point of this video is I try not to make any blanket statements, and I try not to teach in a way that makes me seem as though I know everything, because I know that there are teachers out there who have the attitude of my way or the highway, and that's not me. I'm not like that at all. I encourage people to learn from a variety of resources, different teachers, different books, different videos, whatever it may be that you have access to, because then you're going to have a more well-rounded approach, and you're going to have a lot to work with, a lot of things to try, because it's through trying things that you find what suits you the most. And that's another thing that I talk about constantly, is what suits one person best may not suit the next person best. So getting back to the yarn, if you are just starting out, go with a safe yarn. I have other resources talking about different types of yarns, what they're suitable for. Actually, I have a mega ton of resources. I can't even go through them right now. There are just too many on my website and on YouTube here. But yeah, the main thing is don't start out with a yarn that might prove to be difficult by not being strong enough, or especially a yarn that seems overly stretchy. This can often happen with an acrylic yarns. Depending on the acrylic, they are all made quite differently. And if it's got like a woolen acrylic blend, then it'll have more strength to it because it lends strength from the wool. But I just know for some of the acrylics that I've used myself, they can be really quite stretchy in a way that you're not going to be able to tighten your tension enough, because that yarn's going to continue to stretch. And then there are the yarns that applied extremely loosely. They may even be singles. Now I know, and this emailer told me that he uses singles, and that's great. Some people use sizing on their singles. So what do I mean by single? I mean that your fibre, when it was spun, it is spun by itself, but it's not plied with another yarn. So it's just that individual yarn that is spun, and generally that's going to be weaker than applied yarn. But yeah, the emailer told me that he uses singles all the time, which is great. And he doesn't use sizing. If you don't know what sizing is, it can be a variety of substances that you actually apply to your yarn in order to strengthen it. I know somebody else who does this, so they spin their own alpaca and they use singles a lot, and they apply a sizing before they do that. You can look it up if you're interested. There's a bunch of different things you can use for sizing. You don't have to use weird chemicals or anything like that. You can even use like cornstarch with water, and there's all different kinds of sizing. Basically it washes out afterwards, but it gives that extra layer of protection for warping and weaving. So yeah, you can weave with all kinds of yarns. There are so many fun and awesome yarns to explore. But be kind to yourself when you're starting out, and go with something that is going to give you a successful result, because that is really, really important for spurring you on to continue weaving and to really enjoy the process. I hope this has been helpful to you from this non-expert weaver. Until next time, happy weaving.